They call it the Real Pro. With 8K video, waterproof housing, ridiculously good image sensor and tons of shooting modes, it must be the paradise for each and every content creator. But is it? Let's inspect. Not sponsored by Insta360. I'm saying this because apparently they can book a video made by Casey Neistat, Peter McKinnon, Mr. Who's the Boss, basically every big content creator in the world out there. And this thought alone sounds a little bizarre, in my opinion, because think about it. A few years ago, GoPro was holding about 89% of the action camera market share. For 2025, should be around between 40 and 50, followed by DJI with probably about 20%, and Insta360 is a runner-up, and yet they have such huge marketing budgets that, that's a little bit depressing. Probably these are loads of money that they can take back, reinvest in R&D, and create the best action camera out there, unless they already have it. So welcome to my unbiased review, where I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the Ace Pro 2 in a non-sponsored way. Let's get started. The Ace Pro 2 is a monster when it comes to image quality. Thanks to the new 1x1.3-inch image sensor and Leica optics, footage looks insanely sharp, even in challenging light. You're getting true 8K video with 30 frames per second, buttery 4K at up to 120 frames per second and crisp 50 megapixel stills. The HDR mode has also improved. Dynamic range looks now somewhat natural, with less of that overly processed vibe that we have seen before. I wish I could say it is game-changing or market-redefining. Truth is that we should settle around the word excellent. Yeah, stabilization is GoPro and DJI grade, sharpness is there, white balance leans a bit towards magenta in some areas, which is fixable in post, but worth paying attention to. Also, I really like the option to record everything in log mode. But yes, there is a tiny, but actually could be a huge one for some people. No 10-bit recording. And I know that for many of you the difference between 8 and 10-bit sounds like a very insignificant one. In reality, when it comes to color grading, it could be rather huge, and for any device which has the ambition to offer pro-grade features, I think it's a must-have, because the rest, Insta360 Ace Pro 2 kind of ticks in terms of boxes. There is shutter speed control, there is ISO control, a lot of good other color adjustments. No 10-bit, unfortunately. When it comes to exposure and manual exposure controls, just like the GoPro Hero 13 and unlike the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro, there is no real-time indication about the exposure value while you're inside a photo or the video shooting mode, something that can easily trick you into making underexposed or overexposed footage. That's also kind of a bummer. And I know that most of you are here because you want to hear my opinion about the low-light footage quality. Compare the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 to a smartphone, and it's gonna kick its butt. It's a shame how Samsung dared to ask $1,000 for this quality of their ultra-wide camera, when the Ace Pro 2 costs about half of that and can produce this good. Compare it to a GoPro, and you will likely never consider the Hero line for low light ever. Compare it to DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro, and there's some sort of parity. Sure, some people fall for the hype or just readily echo Insta360's marketing efforts. Truth is that action cameras are not great for low light, mostly because of how the image stabilization works. It happens thanks to algorithms taking advantage of higher shutter speeds, so if you decrease it, there are more notable artifacts. And in low light, you wouldn't get high shutter speed anyway, because the image is gonna be too dark. At the end of the day, you have two options in order to get the most out of the low light capabilities. Option number one would be to rely on the 180-degree shutter rule and try to recover as much as possible out of the footage in post. And option number two would be to rely on pure video mode and kind of live with these artifacts. And we're looking color grading. It's because here the second AI chip comes into the game and does its magic about enhancing the quality. The camera doesn't care that much about the details, it cares about removing all distortions, all the noise, and making sure that the image looks crisp. When it comes to design and build quality, I would for sure say good things. The pack is awesome, no remarks at all, quite the opposite. Everything about Insta360 styling is exciting. You can choose from countless combos and stuff. On one side, buying a combo makes accessories less pricey, but often you do buy things that you don't really use. The Ace Pro 2 comes with the same magnetic mechanism as Ace Pro 1, which is similar to what DJI have started to deploy a few years ago, and GoPro have adopted with the last generation too. Not cross-compatible, unfortunately. Waterproof body, flip screen, front reference display, touch functionality, and hey, this is better than the competition. The micro SD card slot and the USB ports are behind the same door. I can promise this is really useful. Just like the rugged feeling, it is definitely with high quality materials and waterproofing will for sure last. But why is it so freakingly heavy? I don't need yet another mini brick on my chest while I'm riding the bike. We want action cameras to be small and lightweight. Let me repeat, small and lightweight. Perhaps once we read the recap of the tech specs, we're gonna have some more understanding about the reasons, but this is ultimately a copy-paste from what I packed for the Ace Pro Generation 1 a year ago. Minor steps in the right directions, and there are tiny improvements like such one with a display or an improvement with the image sensor, a very modest one. There's a bit wider optics, slightly larger battery, and yet the camera weighs almost 3 grams less compared to the first generation. So obviously, in terms of a hardware pack, it is superior to the GoPro Hero 13, however, the GoPro still wins about some of those super dope slow motion features. And honestly, the display setup, it's good. There's a flip screen, but I was expecting more. Well, having a flip option is good. Mostly, but get a true reference screen on the front, such as what it is with you-know-who, and it's gonna be perfect. I continue to repeat myself that adding an ambient light sensor, therefore auto brightness feature for the display would be great, because it is so irritating to keep the screen at maximum level during the day and then get your eyes fried whenever you want to shoot something in really dark environments. Battery life? Solid. The 1800 mAh removable battery gives you about 90 minutes of 4K shooting with stabilization on, pretty much on par, if not slightly better than current GoPros. Far behind the Osmo Action 5 Pro though, and yeah, it supports fast charging, about 50% in 20-ish minutes. Navigating the Ace Pro 2 is super intuitive, swipes feel smooth, and menus are cleanly organized. It is faster to switch modes compared to the first generation of the Ace Pro, and settings aren't buried under endless submenus. Bonus points for the voice control that actually understands you, and even when you're mid-ride or on a windy beach. One thing you probably are going to notice about the user interface is that Insta360 have the desire to show off that, they deliver you a lot more than the competition, which is somewhat true. On the other hand, something that DJI follow very well ever since they released the Action line, and GoPro as well in the last 2-3 generations, the fact that sometimes less means more, and it's the same with the menus. I know that all these sponsored videos out there are going to excite you about all these many features, but reality is that in the end of the day, all you want from an action camera is to be capable of taking photos and taking videos.
The Ace Pro 2 is absolutely gorgeous about self-recording, and I think the microphone quality is rather good, picking quite a lot of noise from the background.
The Insta360 smartphone app continues to impress. It is fast, feature-rich, and editing your footage is surprisingly easy thanks to the AI highlights and the Shot Lab templates. You can remotely control the Ace Pro 2, update the firmware, tweak the settings, and instantly download clips. No need to connect cables unless you want to. Hands down, the best action camera smartphone app in the past few years. If you want to expand functionality, well, you could. There are plenty of great accessories. If you ask about my opinion, go for the originals. Most of them are great and have rather fair price. Reminding you, I am in no way sponsored by Insta360 to say this. Just happen to use some of their accessories for a long periods of time, and they have never failed me. Before we draw a conclusion, time for listing the drawbacks. Of course, no device is perfect. The Ace Pro 2 isn't cheap, and if you're not planning to shoot in 8K or use the Pro features, it might be overkill. It's also slightly bulkier than the GoPro Hero Black, which could be an issue if you're all about ultra-light setups. No Apple Find My feature support, no display auto brightness, no 10-bit recording, and continues to feel too heavy. In the end, Insta360 Ace Pro 2 is absolute powerhouse for creators who want top-tier quality in a small, rugged form factor. And truth is, it's if you want to step in direction action, videography, or even some travel vlogs, this action camera should be on your radar. And to make things simple, if you already have the first generation or Osmo Action 3 or 4, I feel that upgrading to this one doesn't make much of sense. If you own any of the GoPro Hero line, this is going to be very different, refreshing in many ways, and a camera delivering usable low-light footage. So, after all, with some remarks and my total disagreement about how Insta360 lead their marketing campaigns, they totally nailed it with the Ace Pro 2. Thanks a lot for watching this review and hearing about my opinion, and would be great if you can support my hard, honest work. More details in the video description. I'm the Tech Mishka. Hope to see you soon. Bye.